good evening, most likely good morning. I brought to you a video from the Chronicles of 0.02%. It's a major start. No, well, I guess it would be pun intended because it's from the Major Start channel. But we gonna go ahead and we gonna get it popping today. You know, it's gonna be salt free because he don't like to spread salt in public. But yeah, let's watch these matches.
Oh my God!
It's Clasico from Chicago versus
It begins.
LowTierGod.
Clapper.
It begins, guys.
DeLon Sparrow. Have not seen him. Definitely not his real name. Have not seen him in any events, but you could see the nerves and the...
Yeah, he's shaking his head. He can't believe it. He cannot believe he's up on stage against this man here, right?
No, I don't think that's it. I think it's the fact that it's a competition for money. They gotta, you know, if you go there and you leave empty-handed, you took an L. You leave with nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody, tell your friends. Tune into the chat. Hashtag Warzone 6. Everybody, let your boys know at home that LowTierGod is here, and he's gonna play against a mirror match, Urien on Urien, and you know he's gonna be salty.
Ooh.
And then, like, when you see the camera on you now, it's weird. Now you trying not to look at the thing because you seen yourself on it. So they got a little trying thing where you can see the person. Now it's like, I don't want to look because I see you seeing me, and I don't want to see you looking at me while I'm looking at you.
Yeah, there we go.
Here we go.
Yeah, his favorite mirror match. But enough of that, though. Let's go ahead and get this match started.
Witness this in person.
Yeah, definitely Clasico. Kind of a misspelled error there, but there we go.
I mean, I also was already blessed by LTG's online taunting. So
yeah, maximum teabags in full effect will definitely be the
so
case
I was
here.
blessed once, but now I'm getting baptized by the man himself.
See, bro, they loved you out there. They glazing you hardcore. The matches, this is supposed to be about the match, bro, and they just glazing you the whole match.
See, his real life presence is definitely a treat.
So is he technically high tier god now?
He's still going. He's still going, bro. He supposed to commentate on the match. They just still cooking him.
He killing your ass, man! Well, I wouldn't say he changed his tier at all, but he's still...
What do you mean?
What do you think I mean?
Yo, that's Urien, playboy. Look, he's got the billionaire suit on too, and the ancient tribal outfit as well.
Only in the digital world. But I rate the tiers by people's real life presence. But when you say the word low tier,
oh, you mean personality-wise? That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not that sad.
The guillotine coming down on LowTierGod's head.
Like, I ain't trying to keep cutting it off, but yeah, you were supposed to be playing with low tier characters, and Urien is not a low tier character whatsoever. So really, I mean, you call yourself that, but you're not even playing with low tier characters.
Clasico getting the better of him. Ooh, you see the frustrations. He is clenching his teeth. You can see it on the frames of his cheekbones. You know he's clenching.
Dang, bro, man's done put the hot dog on your head. Pause.
He's hella clenching.
Oh. Having none of that hot dog. Got some hard reads there by LTG.
He is not blocking any of that. Nice. He attempted the headbutt with the knees right in the face. Good choice, Clasico.
This is the stage where you cannot have any excuses. Let's show your full optimal setups.
Yeah.
Best performance.
LowTierGod actually doing pretty well in this match. He's
Yeah, he doing all right. Not even using any layered gameplay or nothing.
Very rare to see LowTierGod being patient, but now you guys see it.
Nice try. Yeah. LowTierGod pressing buttons. Wake up. It's his turn.
The low tier combos.
Oh, yo, is he gonna crack? Yo, so LowTierGod actually had the right idea. I respect it. He went for the reset, thought Clasico was gonna block, but he did not condition him well enough.
He did not respect him at all. He just went straight up reversal EX headbutt.
Yeah, but still, at this point, LowTierGod has had enough data to compile a new strategy.
Ooh, he's got another character.
No. He should stay Urien. I think he should Urien. He didn't do that bad for himself.
So again, wasn't nobody out there just quote unquote hating. If you was getting these dubs or winning, They will put respect on your name. That's what's crazy about it. There's all the excuses, all that fighting game, this don't matter. But my thing is, your respect was right at the line. All you needed was the dubs. All you needed to do was play better to get the dubs, and you would have had the support right there. That easy, right there. And what makes it worse is you can hear it. They're trying to support you. They want to support you, but you got to have the skill to get back with the support. You lack the skill. But I guarantee you, if you was over there winning, when you showed up, it would be a whole different situation. Like, they still do the roasting like at the beginning, but the difference is you'll have W's behind you. The same thing with Mayweather. Yeah, Mayweather with all the heel stuff, he does the heel stuff all he want to do. But I'll tell you one thing, he does not walk out with a loss. That's the difference.
I'll give him that. He's doing as he should. Right, staying kind of patient, going for the resets. But you gotta understand, Clasico plays like a nut. He won't respect you till you force him to. No, don't do it. Don't do this to yourself.
Is he going? Oh,
Nash.
The Nash.
Going with the Nash.
Season 2 Nash.
Going with the Nash.
Nash.
I'm sorry. I don't know what my problem is. My bad.
Oh, people hella booing him. I don't like this choice at all. They butchered.
He might have
Nash's
a plan. You
limbs.
never know. He might have a low tier plan.
You ain't lying. Straight to the loser's bracket.
Man, he's trying to get himself. He's trying to GTA B himself.
Round one.
For sure.
Fight.
Let's see if he's gonna get GTA beat in the main stage.
Look, I'm rooting for LowTierGod. I want this to
Wow.
happen. I hella want this to happen because you know as soon as it happens, if he wins, we're gonna see an incoming stream right then and there. He's gonna talk about how low tier his win was.
You can't.
Getting cornered here, LowTierGod.
Oh man, he
Cornering
hops
himself
back
again.
into the corner. Just to use
Love
the
that
reversal. I like the tech.
He's heavily struggling, putting pressure on, getting back down, not respecting his zone at all, just walking right up on him.
The fake out.
He deliberately missed a neutral jump kick to throw him.
Different levels.
He thinks in a different frequency to all of us.
That's why he's a god, man.
Very
We
delayed.
humans
B
cannot
reversal
understand.
too.
Oh, he
See, this right here is a complete disrespect of space. So if you're not familiar with fighting games or how this works, basically what he's doing is he's taking no precaution, no defense. He's literally treating it like a walkthrough beat 'em up. He's not playing for real at all. Like, it's gotten bad. So again, if you don't know how this goes, if anytime somebody just starts swinging at you on the game, don't block, nothing, you lost.
on it a little bit and just got blocked.
I think he was trying to see what kind of tricks LowTierGod has up on his sleeves with Nash.
Nash.
The Nash.
Clasico with the knee. Nice
Good
punish.
response. LowTierGod
Yeah,
knows
the
that
knee was slightly above the upper body. He was able to punish it.
Did you just say what I think you said? Nice headbutt. Oh, the check, the resets.
Escaping the corner, very nice. Well,
He putting a whole lot more pressure on him now, though. See, act up, but there it goes. Damn. Well, that's it. He tried, though. He tried.
dashes up throw, season 1 stuff. Max range actually.
Oh,
Wow,
check.
neutral jump light kicks. We got those.
You better check your head. Nice, he's out of there.
Jumps out of us straight away. Has some heavy none of them. Oh, the
Oh,
fireball.
no. Nice.
Oh, he
Pocketed
absorbs his own
money.
fireball.
He
just
paid
to
himself.
entertain the crowd.
That's like him subbing to his own stream. Woo.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Nobody but LTG.
No handshakes. He just gave him the fist stab. I respect it. All right, at least he was paid respects. That's fine. At least he's not 0-2. He made it pretty far. Winner semis of his pools
I mean,
against
yeah,
Clasico.
big respect to LTG actually coming down here.
Bro, look, even with the L, even with the L, respect for showing up. And I'm not going to take that away from you either. Even though you got clapped in public, you got clapped into oblivion, at least you showed up to get clapped in person. Pause. You showed up. You can't take that away from you. Now, was there a lot of money on the line? No. But reputation has value. So you cannot say that people were not waiting to back you up and still gave you props even though you lost. You got more props than Clasico got and he won the match. Come on, man. Now, let's go ahead and move on to our next segment.
All we do is fucking run. Feel like I'm on the goddamn track team.
Been quite bad mentally because I don't think my next financial year is going to be as good if I'm comparing my numbers from last year, and that's very stressful.
And to kind of give a rundown of where we are and what this conversation is about, because I know we got kind of serious kind of fast. Basically, he's discussing his revenue from prior years to current year and being a content creator and what it's like, and basically talking about how Mr. Beast is probably, I think, allegedly says he's the first YouTube billionaire. And he's just talking about the income of other creators and the stresses of being a creator full time. So that's just to kind of give you a rundown of what this conversation is about, because we kind of jumped straight into the meat and potatoes, pause, jumped straight into the middle of the story, if that makes sense. And the links are below if you want to watch them in their entirety. But let's go ahead and continue.
And also, I think it takes a very certain type of person to be a YouTuber, to deal with the stress, to deal with the constant slew of content creation.
The #1 job for kids in Gen Z is a YouTuber. I think they said like 60 to 80% of kids in Gen Z want to be a content creator.
And this conversation really needs to be had. This is why I decided to plug a lot of this in, because a lot of people ask me about it. And I'm like, dude, I'm not even a big channel. Like, it's kind of like I do this to be stupid. This is not where I make my money. I don't make money on YouTube. I make money on YouTube, but this doesn't pay the bills. Like, you know, every video might be like 25, 30 bucks. It's not any real money. But when they see these views and I give them the real breakdown, I said, hey, it's difficult to get your hours up to be watched like that. And a lot of these people that you're watching, they didn't just pop out the bushes and start making money. And a lot of these people on social media lie to you. These were content creators for over a decade. So a lot of times when you see people get monetized, oh, they got monetized after 3 months. No, they didn't. They were already making content. This was probably their 9th or 10th channel. More times than not, if they're about in their mid 20s and 30s, they've been on YouTube. They've been on different media sites for over 10 to 15 years. So they didn't just pop off out of nowhere, out the woodwork. Even if you want to use the biggest creators today, they've been here. They've been around. They just happen to just pop off. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to use LTG as a prime example. Before he got to the point, well, let's start like this. Before he ruined his momentum, he had like 8 to 10,000 subs for like 6 years, 7 years. Like, he didn't start popping off for real until like 2022, 2023. I think by the time he started popping off, Biden was in office. Like, that's how recent it was. It was like 2022, 2023. And when I say popping off, you're not popping off until you exceed that 50K sub range. And he was nearing the 100. So you got to keep in mind that he was on YouTube, I think 2012, 2011. It wasn't like 2014. It was like 2011, I think, when he officially got on YouTube. And what's considered official is that you're consistently posting, consistently making content, consistently doing this. And as you'll notice, if you've been watching this whole time, you can see from when he just had his bootleg streams to when he started trying to upgrade it, to when he started trying to edit, put the effects in, make the background look nice, trying to come on there and really make a project. Despite the fact that it was just a stream or a YouTube video, he was trying to put a little bit more life behind it and evolve. But again, you as that creator curse, you start to get complacent as you start to make money, because he was making bread. And this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about, because recently it was mentioned with Hassan, and I criticized Hassan for his take about the regular jobs versus streaming. And like I said, streaming is not a hard job, but it is hard to get monetized doing it. It's hard to get monetized making videos and really make money. But when you're making money and you're to that point, it's a drastic difference between you constantly posting, getting no views and making no money, or not making enough money to be able to survive off of it. Does it make sense? But let's go ahead and move forward.
Everybody is out to get your job. And oftentimes people will have a couple good years at the beginning and they assume that that's going to be sustainable for the next 50 years of their lives, because hopefully, God willing, that's how long you live. And they over analyze how much they make. They over predict how much they're actually going to make. They try to make this into their career, and then they realize it's actually not sustainable, because it comes in waves. It goes up and down and all around.
Exactly. So for example, let's just say you're a content creator and you make 30,000 this year. Assume next year you're going to make 21,000. I know you're probably like, that's counterproductive to assume you're going to make less, but what you have to understand is this money here is not guaranteed. It's based on fluctuation. And if people pull their ads, you're no longer monetized. If they're not getting YouTube Premium, you're not making any money. It's not guaranteed. Ad revenue is not guaranteed. It could go down. It may go up next year. If it goes up, great. But assume you're going to make less. And this is not saying it like, okay, now put in less work. Oh, don't take it as serious. What I'm saying is keep that same energy when you make it. Stay true to yourself when you make it, and make it because you truly want to make it. If you're making content to try to make money, but you don't really like to make content, that's don't waste your money or your time getting involved in this. This is a labor of love. This is a labor of love that could be fiscally beneficial if you stick with it, but what you're gonna have to understand is you're not gonna be breaking bread and going crazy with the money as you do this, and it's not guaranteed. And keep in mind the percentage of people making crazy bread on here. It is not a high percentage. You're talking maybe 15-20% out of millions, and I'm using a high percentile. So it's like, keep that in mind when you go to be a YouTuber. That's the equivalent of becoming a rapper. It's not this ain't about to play out how you think it is. Like I said, go ahead and do your thing. You could try it. I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but I'm just letting you know it ain't what you think it is.
And if you're not able to adapt on YouTube or as a content creator, then you're just gonna go by the wayside. People are just gonna continue to pass you because that's just how the game goes. Either your stuff has to be so good that people are continuously waiting for you. That is a category. Or you have to continue to produce stuff with different ideas, or you're just gonna go by the wayside. That's the name of the game. That's how the cookie crumbles. So if you just assumed that you was gonna continue to have $50,000 years and you was just gonna keep scaling that up, then you made a bad assumption.
And to just deal with, you know, being self-employed in this way. And I will speak about all of this in a lot more detail, but I just want to use 2 case studies quick. And they're people like myself, kind of people who've either tried and failed to do YouTube full time and lost a lot of money, or someone recently, Innuendo Studios, who has talked about being in loads of debt, and they said being a YouTuber bankrupted me. So there's obviously problems here in terms of YouTube. Among us people who are earning a certain amount, like not loads of money, there is something wrong here. Now, the first video is a guy called Romain. I don't know how to say that. He's a French guy, I think. And he says, I'm quitting, lost $60,000 on YouTube. Now, he is a good case study. If you want to go watch that video, I'm not going to play it for you.
Okay, I'm gonna offer you a little advice. Now, you're bigger than me. Your channel's bigger than mine, but this is a huge mistake that you're making. I'm just pointing out mistakes as to why you're not growing as a creator. You're being lazy. You're being complacent. You literally just showed a thumbnail of these people, but you didn't give any context. It would have made the video a whole lot better. And this is free game. I'm just saying, like, again, I'm not saying it like I know everything. I'm critiquing you as a viewer. Like, you brought these people up. I want to hear what they have to say. So instead, since you didn't do it, I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Results for my YouTube channel. And in 2024, I lost $57,295. So in this video, which is going to be completely raw, unscripted, and a one take, I'm going to be addressing what the heck happened, what have been my revenue streams, my expenses, and pretty much addressing all of those as I think about the future for this channel, because losing $60,000 while working over 3,000 hours on this sometimes makes you question some of your decisions.
And see, this is one of the things that I appreciate here. This video, I watched the whole thing. Of course, I'm going to put a little bit of it. It's a very good watch. It's a great watch. He goes through his background. I'm gonna summarize a little bit. Basically, he was up top in Amazon, you know, doing negotiations for Prime. And what he was doing was very high level stuff. He started out small scale, 35K, basically worked up the ladder, made his way up to 200K a year. So he was making very good money. But as he was up top, he would see these people, these execs and all of these people making all this money, and he would see a scowl, or they didn't look happy. They looked depressed. They looked defeated, despite the fact of having the money. And then he discussed how one of the people, how they couldn't quit. It was the lifestyle, the kids, the private school, the expenses. So they were kind of trapped in this lifestyle. And for those saying, well, just spend less money, just don't do this, don't do that. That's not how that works. He's married with kids. If he decides not to do this and not to yield to what this woman wants, she's going to either cheat, leave, or take him to the cleaners. If they get divorced, he's getting taken to the cleaners. So he does not have a choice. He's enslaved to his employment and his lifestyle. And I know a lot of people always talk about, well, I'll do this and I'll do that. Well, the only reason why this person is where they're at is because they're married, they have a ball and chain. They don't allow single men to work their way up the ladder because you're a flight risk. They need to make sure that you need to be here so they can have a reliable source to keep bringing in the big bucks. They have you where they have you because they need a guarantee of money. All right. But that's just to give a rundown about that part.
Probably $40-50 million a year. And he would pass by my desk, and I would often say hi, just kind of like, what the hell is going on? This guy is at the top. He's one of the founders. Not once in the 2+ years that I've been there have I seen him smile.
Now I just plugged it. Now, I just covered it, but I plugged it. This is an excellent video. You need to watch the whole thing in entirety. But I just wanted to have this be said to second in this point. Money ain't everything. Now, you need it for survival, but money is a tool. So a lot of people think that, oh, I'll chase it, get this paper up, and all my life gonna be good, and this gonna be the life. See, the thing that they don't tell you about this money is the more money you make, the less people you can trust. The less people that you think want to be around you because they like you. Nobody calls you to hang out anymore. Nobody's cool with you anymore. Everybody's asking you for something all the time. Anytime you go to a family function, is what can you do for me? Can you do this? Well, I know you make this much money. Well, why can't you do that? Why can't you do this? And then everybody you deal with, oh, that's so-and-so. He worked for you see what I mean? Or he got that kind of money. You can't trust anybody. So unfortunately, when you get to the point of gaining money and status, you can't even trust nobody. And you work so hard for your money. And that's another thing I'm gonna touch on. With that relationship, because I know you got people out here who think they super pimp-tastic, sugar-free head at. No, that's not how life works. That's not how life works. When you're out here working 80, 90 hours a week, that to keep that woman quiet, you throw money at her because you're sacrificing all that time. So it's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you money. Women are consumers. So when you make crazy kinds of money to keep her quiet, you're going to have to pay her. You're going to have, and when I say pay her, I don't mean like, you know what I'm talking about. A car, this house, these decorations, this new bathroom set, this kitchen set. I want this kind of stove. The kids need to go here. I want to have this kind of party. I want to be here. I want to be there. That's a part that comes with this. And then he's stuck in it. Because how is he going to justify being gone all that time? And working all that time? And that's why I tell y'all, like, this internet stuff is not what you think it is. When you listen to these people talk, they leave all this part out. They leave this section out. Not everybody. CGA doesn't. CGA doesn't. But a majority of people leave this part out. They tell you what you need to do, how you need to handle this, how you need to handle that. But they never give you the real perspective in the real life situation that applies to how that actually works. But let them go ahead and continue. I don't want to ramble too long.
As I'm looking at my finances, I'm in that momentum, like just let's keep this going. Like, I don't care, let's go. And I'm going to be opening up a little bit about what that means in terms of pure numbers. Guys, I hope for no judgment on this, but this is crazy. I spent $98,000 last year on YouTube. So just even digesting this, it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, how the hell did you put yourself in this position? Most of that cost is contract labor. So an editing on my podcast is about $500. Then you have to account for thumbnails. That's about $40. Then you account for someone that does captions. That's about $50. Then you have to account for, what else? Hold on, how do I put? Yeah, oh, right. I forgot about this one. People coming on the show. Most of the people have no money. They have nothing. And so I need to help with transportation. I need to provide a slight incentive at least for them to come and just open up to me. That's about $200 or so per person.
Now, here's what I want to say about that. As far as the people, that was probably the best expense. That was cheap. $200 to $500 a person is cheap. But where he made the biggest mistake is that you're utilizing school or college methods in the creator space. Now, what he's doing is not wrong. It does work when you have, you're doing television or something to where they have millions of viewers and they're generating millions per episode or even 10, 15,000 per episode, things like that. That's a very good game plan. But when you're doing this on YouTube, you can't come out there spending that kind of money because you got to clear Like you hear everybody say, you got to clear 1 million views before you get $3,000. And every video that's 2,000, 3,000 views is like 15 to 20 bucks. So before you go out spending money like crazy, you got to first get to that threshold and prove you're worthy enough to make that kind of money on the platform. And then once you start making that money for an extended period of time, then you'll have a little side amount of money. You'll have a reserve to start to utilize for the extra people to edit it, because now you're making money elsewhere. So now that the video is making money itself, or even if you're only profiting 200 a video, you're not going negative. So yeah, it's still growing. You're still accumulating. You're still building, right? But when you go to school and you get these master's degrees and all of this, what that's good for is the position that you held at Amazon. That's what that's beneficial for. These degrees don't work out here. These degrees don't work in the creator space. And I'm not saying this to criticize them. I'm just saying this to anybody who may not know this. Just because you go to college is actually going to hinder you in the creator space, because you got to think outside the box. College is very black and white. It's very textbook. So it's not going to teach you to do anything in different kinds of ways in the most cost-effective way. Is just, look, I'm gonna throw some money at it because that's what you have to do to get what you want done correctly. And there's, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that, but it does not work in the creator space. You have to be creative. You have to be a creative. You have to be able to do all of these things yourself. So it's basically now you got to go to the college of being a creator, you know? And one thing that he doesn't know is, you shouldn't have been paying for shorts. You could have just cut sections out of your own video. You're watching them yourself. That was a waste of money. You could have literally done those shorts yourself, because you can't monetize shorts. And YouTube was actually pushing shorts. So shorts are free subs and free views that you didn't even have to pay any money for. The descriptions, man, you could have typed that out yourself. And again, this is not for scrutiny. This is just for anybody who thinks that you got to pay for all this stuff. You don't. That's why they have all these tools they have now. So you don't got to pay all these people. You know what I'm saying? So you don't, because you like you said on the video, you're going to be making peanuts. Yeah, you are. You're going to be making 10 to 20 something dollars per video, getting 2 to 3,000 views. And it's going to be like that for a while. It's very rare when creators get on the platform and just kill it. Just come out there 80,000, 120,000, 300,000. It's very rare. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't. And I'm going to go ahead and let them continue, but I just wanted to go ahead and give a quick rundown just on that part.
So every production, every video that's coming out every week is more or less, when you account for everything, about $1,000 out of pocket. That, guys, is crazy. When my revenue per video is about, $10, $12 per 1,000 views. So I make 10,000 views, I make $120. The ROI here is out of this world.
ROI is return on investment for those who don't know.
In fact, in 2024, I made a total of $40,844 of revenue. 40K.
It's a labor of love, man. This is a labor of love, I'm telling you.
So my time is literally on minus. Like, I've lost, I guess, 40,000, almost $60 an hour.
But that's the one thing about school and these degrees. They teach you to be successful, but they don't teach you about risk management and failure and overcoming failure. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like, yeah, when you get in this classroom, this is this is that, this is this is that, here's your grade. But it's never this is that. Okay, now let's say you fail at your career. Let's say you fail at what you're trying to do. That conversation is never had. The conversation is black and white. Here's the task. Here's the job. Get it done. But when you're a creative, you're going to fail a hell of time. Some people get it right the first time, but it's rare, man. It's very rare. Even the biggest people you see out here now, they didn't get it the first try. Some of these people have been creators like almost a decade before it even popped off for them. They were doing stuff in their high school. They were doing things in junior high. So when you seen these guys at 22, 23, they were already doing film. They were already in theater or whatever they were doing. They were already doing something related to the field. They just weren't on YouTube yet, or they didn't implement it in YouTube yet. You see what I'm saying? But overall, man, that 50K, it's not that bad. It's not that bad because you didn't know anything about the field. You took the L, you took the hit. Now you know better. You could do better, but it ain't that bad, man. You'll be all right. It's gonna cost you about a year, but you'll be all right. let's get back to where we left off.
This is a freaking joke. I did 3.4 million views last year in ads, 23,917. My most popular video, the one that blew up, did $2,400. So I had to bet on sponsors and affiliates. I made about $17,000 from those. But affiliates, they're like, look, let's go. What's your return? How are you doing? What are your views? Hey, we want something. We want like an average. Hey, what's going on? Well, my views are gonna be up and down, up and down. I can't really provide as consistent of a platform because it's so case dependent. At the same time, I'm feeling the financial pressure and like, what the hell have I put myself into?
And see, these affiliates are talking how you were when you came out. Oh, the money. What's the projections? What are you making? What's going on? It's like, hey, it's a creative space. It doesn't work like that. There is no. This ain't EA. this ain't 2K where people just spend this kind of money. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. They gotta watch it. I can't tell you. It's inconsistent, you know. But these people who don't do it, they're going to be all on your back because they don't understand. They're like, I don't get it, man. You were doing like 70,000 a video. What happened? Like, why is it 20,000 now? You got to put more work into it. You know, you got to work harder. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. This is a creative field. People can rock with you Monday and be done with you by Friday. You know, people could love you for 2 years and then hate you the next 3. You know, you could do one thing and set people off or say the wrong thing and people want to unsub or not watch you as much, or you get what I'm saying? There's always something that can cost you. It's very Russian roulette. It is like at one click, boom, over with. That one click, it just takes that one time. And you're done, you're hurt, you're down bad, you got to rebuild your way back up. Or another thing he talked about was the algorithm, how you're posting something that hurt your algorithm that people didn't watch, now it's not being recommended, and now you're fighting an uphill battle to try to get the views that you were getting. Yeah, it runs deep. Like, this is a whole, when I say the College of Creators, this is a whole nother ball game in itself that you can only learn from trial and error. Yeah, people can sort of give you some advice. They can sort of kind of help you. But generally, man, it's all on you. It's all up to you. People can't really help you with the best way to get people to watch you. That's the crazy part. You could have Mr. Beast right now could come out here and have all as the biggest channel, have all the advice in the world. But what worked for Mr. Beast does not mean it's going to work for you. And I'm not saying it like he said anything about Mr. Beast. I'm saying this because even as the biggest channel on YouTube, he can't even help you. He can't even help you with getting people to watch you. Like, he can give you the advice of things that he knows, but even with the advice of the biggest of the big people in the space, it ain't gonna guarantee your growth. Like, that's how real this field is when it comes to entertainment. It's just, do they like it or do they not? That's really it. And I was just tying that into the spending the money conversation, or the quote unquote feeling like you failed conversation, or feeling like you overspent conversation. You didn't know, because honestly, you could have spent that money and your channel could have blew up doing 800,000, 1.2 million views per video. You tried it and it just didn't work. You know, it was a nice go. Shoot, run it back. Try it a different way. Cut them expenses down and see how it works.
I need to commit to it. I need to just go about it and just kind of see, is this going to be the next video that's going to come out? Is this going to be it? Or do I need to shut that down?
I mean, that's the issue, man. Even when you hungry, never move like you starving. Nah, dang, I got to plug it now.
Even when you hungry, never move like you starving.
And you know, that's the best advice that I can give you, because that's one thing, like I said, school don't teach you how to hustle. They just teach you what they got to teach you. And you just got to go get it, man. You know, you don't need to quit. You didn't came this far. Ain't no point in turning around. Just stop spending all your money. Just stop spending all your money, man. That's the most advice that I could give you as a smaller creator. Stop spending all your money, man, and just make it work. You good. Don't even worry about all that. It ain't no point of quitting. And I ain't laughing at you, man. I'm just laughing because it's funny. Like, when stuff don't go right, you just gotta laugh at it. It be like that. That's literally the quote. It be like that. It is what it is, man. It ain't gonna change nothing. Being sad about it ain't gonna change nothing. And I'm not saying you're sad about it. I'm just saying it don't matter. It's already gone. You know it? Cool. Keep making content. Do your thing. I watched that whole video. It was interesting. You know? I don't know how many more videos you can capture like that, but you might as well. You in too deep. Shoot, go ahead and see it through. just like I said, just stop, stop throwing hundos at it, and you'll be all right. Now, this video got derailed a little bit. We wound up going somewhere else, but let's go ahead and let them continue from the video that we had before we went to this tangent that we just recently went on.
A good case study of basically what not to do if you want to become a full-time YouTuber, right? Because he has a cushy job at Amazon.
Yeah,
he says.
60,000 is
$200,000
crazy.
a year. And he basically said YouTube is his dream, and he spent $1,000 on every single video, and that obviously means he would go in debt on the videos because his video would not make $1,000 back for him. And as you can see, his subscribers are still pretty low to be dropping that kind of money. So he went about it all wrong.
No, you've got it all wrong. Different things work for different people. He had the capital to take those kinds of chances. Sometimes it does work out. It does work out sometimes. It's all about taking chances. The only difference was he had a little bit more money under his belt to take that kind of chance. It just didn't work out in his favor. But in my opinion, he didn't do anything wrong. He wanted quality. He paid for quality. Heck, he could have came out the gate and was literally getting 100,000 views a video. I've seen plenty of videos where Asmin will come across somebody's channel at 300 views, and the fact that he watched it on his stream and it was high quality, he compliments the quality and what you're doing on the video, and then boom, overnight you got 15, 20 something plus thousand views. People who do these horror shorts that Corey Kenshin shouts out, they spend hella bread to do this stuff. Whether it's time, money, whatever, they put a lot of work and time into these horror vids. And the fact that Corey watched it, they went from 500 subs to 15, 20 something thousand, as well as Meat Canyon. So to sit here and say that, and even if you want to say, oh, well, they didn't spend that kind of money, it doesn't matter. Time is still money. If you spend 82 hours doing something, you spent money. Just because it wasn't tangible cash does not mean time is money. Time is the most expensive money you have. So if you spending time, you spending money. And based on how much, just consider how much your time is worth by the hour. If your time is worth, let's just say on a small end, let's say you spend 50 hours on something, on a project, on a high quality project, and you didn't quote unquote spend any money, but your average on what you work is like 15 an hour. 15 times 50, you already at $700 to $800 something dollars. The only difference is instead of paying somebody cash outright, you paid with your time. He didn't do anything wrong. It just didn't work out. He didn't have the time, so he paid where he would have spent the time. That's how it works. He didn't do it wrong, but go ahead and continue.
It didn't pay off for him, and well, he has that money to spend, so he can do whatever he wants of it. But the one thing when I saw this going like viral around like social media, I'm like, that is not a good representative of what it's like to be a general like average YouTuber, and clearly a guy who wanted to make the success happen faster than he was willing to work for it. So
no, that's not true. He wanted to have quality and pay for quality. You're misinterpreting what he was doing. He didn't have the time to do it, so he was paying where he lacked the time. Because if you listen to what he said, he still has to vet all these people and everything for these interviews. He was doing a whole lot more, in my opinion, than the average YouTuber. Because not only was he still putting in work to try to make it work, he still had to do the content on top of that. And you're given a preconceived notion. Like nowhere did it say that he was trying to pay his way to the top. Paying your way to the top would be like you dropping one video and then he threw $50,000 on ads on that one video. That would be paying your way to the top. But doing over a year plus worth of content and then paying to have quality, that is not paying your way to the top. He just wanted to have it done right, thinking that if it looked good and the presentation was good and it was packaged good, it would do what it was. Basically, it would do what was anticipated. But that's just not how it played out. But that had nothing, that paying your way to the top and what he was doing are two completely different things.
So he put his money down.
Yeah,
and he lost
that
a lot
was
of
his
money.
fault. Yeah,
but
that was
doesn't mean
insane.
YouTube as a job
you do that?
inherently means.
No, it's not. Why would you do? Why do y'all think time is free? Like, what kind of word? Like, our time has a value on it. You know that, right? So if you have, we're gonna use simple numbers. Let's say each video takes him 8 to 9 hours to do it himself. And let's say his hourly wage is $100 an hour. If he spent 8 to 9 hours of video, he just spent $800 to $900 worth of time of his money. Like the value of his time, he spent $900 because that's what his time is valued at per video. He still spent it anyway. Just because you sat at your computer and did it yourself does not mean you did not spend that money. And then let's say, for example, this is just a hypothetical. This wouldn't happen. But if he didn't go to his job for 1 week and he went 1 week, like he just took a week off to do YouTube and then went back, which it doesn't work like that. This is just in a hypothetical situation. He would lose an upwards of about $3,500 to $4,000 a week. And let's say with his videos, he couldn't produce them right away. So I'm sure he's probably doing maybe 1 or 2 videos a week. So while he's doing those 1 or 2 videos that will cost him roughly $2,000, if he did not go to work to do those YouTube videos, he's losing $3,500 to $4,000. He's losing twice as much money. So when you say it doesn't make any sense for him to spend that money, if he took time out of the job where it's his bread and butter, it would have actually costed him more money and time. Yes, it's daunting to come out of the account. Yes, it's daunting to spend that money, but your time is still money. And if you sacrifice making the bigger portion of that money to go off and do something else, it still costed you. Just because you didn't have it don't mean you didn't lose it. It just means that it didn't get put in your hand. But that was that money was guaranteed. When he quits that job, that almost $14,000-15,000 a month was guaranteed. So when he leaves there, them 4 or 5 videos he may do a month that cost him $5,000, he just gave up $14,000-15,000. Now he's getting hit for $120,000-130,000 at the end of the year of money he didn't make versus that $40,000-50,000 chance basically when it brought him back $40K when he spent $90. Does that make sense? I know I threw a bunch of numbers out, but to simplify it, if he were to quit what he was doing, because typically to put that kind of time in a YouTube video, you have to do YouTube full time. If he gave up his 6-figure job, his double 6-figure job, making $200,000 a year, I say doubles because it's 200, but basically giving up his $200,000 job a year to stop and do YouTube videos solely and just quote unquote organically grow, he would be losing over $130,000 a year. Yeah, you guys got to factor in your time. When it comes to work, it ain't just about the work. It's also about how much time it took you, because time cost you too.
You're going to lose loads of money. And that's the main point of me talking about both of these people. I think there are problems here both don't really recognize. So this guy realizes that you can't spend your way into popularity, but with Innuendo Studios, guy called Ian Danskin, he made this video talking about how being a YouTuber bankrupted him. Now, the video title maybe isn't like that reflective of what he's saying, because it seems,
you know, to be real reflective of what they're saying, to let them speak for themselves. You know, that'd be really reflective. You know what I'm saying? But no, we don't want to do that. You know, we want to talk about the troublesomes of being a YouTuber, but putting out half-ass content and being so lazy that we don't even allow people to speak for themselves so the audience can determine what they think they're saying. Because when it comes to context, it's all about how you receive the message. How you may receive the message may not be how everybody else receives it. So it's better to let people speak for themselves, unless you're evaluating what they're saying word by word and responding to what they're saying while you're saying it. That's true reaction content. Now, again, I'm gonna be real with you. Your lack of growth is due to you being lazy. It's due to you being lazy. And I'm just going off of this video, just off of what I'm seeing you do here. You're being lazy. And the only reason why I'm not reviewing the other video is because this video is already 44 minutes. So I don't want to make it just insanely long, because I know if I cover that one, this video is gonna be over an hour. Now, me personally, I don't mind doing it. I don't care. Dude, I'll drop a 2-hour video. I could care less. But the thing is, I don't know if my audience would want to watch an hour-long plus video about this. That's the only reason I'm not doing it. But I'm not doing it because, oh, well, yeah, you know, I just want to summarize and not. No, I'd rather do the hour-long video so I can make sure nothing's taken out of context. All the information is correct. Everything is understood correctly, allowing them to speak for themselves, coming to an understanding of what they said, understanding what they said in entirety, and within context. But for you to just put their photo up here and be like, yeah, man, you know, from this video right here, you know what I'm saying? You can go ahead and watch that. You know, they were saying something like about, you know, when well, it kind of sounded like when they said it, like they was blaming, you know, YouTube for why they spent that much money, but not really. But the way it kind of sounded when I heard it, that's what it sounded like. You see how stupid that's silly. That don't even sound right. Like that's ridiculous. And if you treat YouTube like that, treat YouTube like a job. If you treat this like it doesn't matter, you're half-assing the school project, don't expect an A in results. Yo bad. Yo bad. Go ahead and continue, man.
Seems like he's blaming being a YouTuber on his financial struggles. And I think the content of the video, even if he doesn't think this is what it's saying, it's more about how a guy who is a full-time YouTuber was kind of wanting to get even bigger so his financial situation would improve, but it didn't. And then he made a GoFundMe asking for help.
Yes.
Man, you really explained that, didn't you? Yeah, you explained that so well. Let people talk, man. Let people speak for themselves, and we interpret what they have to say. Stop speaking for them. Like, if you're not gonna quote these people verbatim, let them speak for themselves.
See, you never do that. You never do that because people are not going to feel bad for you. People have to wake up at 5 a.m. to go to work. You have a job where you can wake up at 2 p.m. and make content at your own pace. And that does come with its pros and its cons. It's easy to get lazy.
Couldn't tell. Couldn't tell from these thumbnails on the screen.
But at the same time, it's easy to get lazy when you don't have a schedule, but at the same time, it's like no one's going to feel bad for you. So once you get to the point where you come from this position of luxury and then you're starting to make videos where you're asking people who have normal 9-to-5 jobs to give you money, no one's going to feel bad for you. You might as well take that video and you might as well go ahead and become a stripper. Start selling ass.
That's funny. But it ain't go up for the club. Nah, I don't think that's gonna work out for him. But exactly though, like nobody's gonna feel bad for you, man. Like I've even said before, being able to make money off social media is a privilege. This is an extremely privileged position. So if you mess it up, screw it up, whatever it may be, nobody's gonna feel bad for you. Nobody's gonna feel sorry for you. None of that. Now there's a rare case of a few people that people might. But on a large scale, people are going to be like, whatever. And they assume you make a whole lot more money than you make as well. So they really ain't going to feel bad.
Go work for Uber, DoorDash. You'd be better off than trying to sit here and beg the people who you that are your subscribers for money. Because those people got to go to work every day. Nobody's going to feel bad for you when you make this video. The issue is you can't try to treat YouTube like a business when you want to not work, but then not treat it like a business. So when it comes to taxes, everything on the back end that you got to do to treat something like a business, because it's now your livelihood, it's now your business once it becomes your livelihood, right? So you got to treat it like a business or your livelihood's going to slip right underneath you. And I see it happen. I've seen it happen.
And keep quality in your content, because if you choose to stop putting quality in it, people will notice. They will stop watching. Now, I'm not saying they won't stop watching because they just outgrow whatever content it is you're doing. But one way for it to not assist your content is to get lazy and to get complacent, because people will see that, and over time they'll just stop watching because it ain't what they used to watch. It's not. It shows that you don't care about your content anymore. They can see it. They can tell. And if it gets to that point, you're better off just not posting and leaving the channel alone before you ruin it.
I know people that has happened to. I know people who are content creators currently that don't make enough money to pay the bills that they have monthly now, because they went out, bought cars, they bought jewelry. I don't want to get too specific. People know who they are, and it is what it is. It happens to a lot of people. But when it comes to them taxes, that's really where you get got. You start spending money, increasing your monthly bills. There's no limit to how high your monthly bills can be, by the way. And I've seen them get pretty crazy on people who were doing good content and was making a lot of money. And then once their money start going down, they wasn't paying them taxes how they were supposed to, because you got to send your own money in to pay taxes. It's 1099. So the taxes don't come right out of your paycheck. You got to send that money in yourself. And you start lying to yourself, I'm going to pay it on the next check. Then you got this big tax bill at the end of the year, penalties on top of the tax bill. They charge interest when you owe the IRS on the money you owe the IRS, by the way. So that can happen to you. You can end up paying interest on the money you owe to the IRS just because you didn't pay the money on time. If you're not doing it quarterly, you could get charged interest on the money you owe just because you wasn't paying it on time. So yeah, there are a lot of rules to it where if you are not business minded and you're just a creative, you can fall victim to going bankrupt because you just don't understand the business side of it.
And honestly, on that part of going bankrupt and losing a lot of money, it ain't even on the IRS side. It's just living above means. And a lot of people think that when you start making $150,000 a year, that you can spend about $7,000-8,000 a month. You can't do that. You can't sit around here with no $5,000 rent and no $1,800 car payment. Because if that next year comes around and you don't make that, or you make, let's just say, instead of $150, you make $70,000, $80,000, you just went in the red almost $20,000-$30,000. And that's not including you eating or nothing else. It's not including if you take a trip. That's not including anything else. That's just a car and a house. And then you got to maintain these things. So it's even more expensive for the maintenance because you can't just go to no regular place to maintain that vehicle. When it comes to that house, more times than not, them expensive houses, the landscaping and things like that, and other things, you're going to be spending anywhere to keep it looking nice, especially if you move somewhere with HOA. Don't even get me started on that. You're going to be spending anywhere from $400 to $1,000 a month just to keep the house maintained that you moved into. You know, that's the part they don't talk about. But that's where a lot of that money going.
But you have to also, you can't just be a YouTuber. You have to know things about business and especially taxes in order to stay afloat. And it's your responsibility the moment you treat this as a full-time job. And nobody's going to feel bad for you if the rug gets pulled from underneath you.
Be good at managing your money, and you have to be someone, in my opinion, who's good with money, because you have to give the government their money. They don't take it out of your account like most people who have full-time jobs. You have to do that. And if you want a pension, you're going to have to do that. If you want all these things, you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to sort out your accountant. You're going to have to treat this like really, really seriously. And you're going to have to be very realistic about it. And again, when we're talking about all of this as well, I want to talk about like the Patreon model. I just think isn't sustainable anymore. And that means you're going to have to hit a certain level of views on YouTube. And in my head, I got the number 1 million views a month, right? And that is about between maybe £2,600 to like £3,200. And I know that number is something I can have a goal towards every single month. All right, try and hit 1 million every single month and work as hard as you can to hit that million.
And that's where you go wrong. You know, and to be advising as somebody who's a YouTuber, to be advising anybody, that's where you're going wrong. When you're sitting here like, yeah, project to hit this, to hit that, it's no longer about the content you're putting out versus let me turn around this content to hit these views. So if all you're doing is saying, I'm going to turn around this content to get these views, it's going to take a significant drop in quality. This is the McDonald's model. It does not work. If you keep creating fast food content, you're going to get fast food results
every single month, right? And the main thing is, if you want to make this work as a job, that all requires loads of discipline.
Yep.
And
that's the
not
big
everyone
word.
can do that. And
Consistency.
I totally recognize
And
not
that
everyone
takes
can
discipline.
be disciplined. Not everyone can manage their finances on their own.
Yep.
And it's a very solitary thing where there's no support. There's no real emotional support because most people who you know don't have the same problems as this. And there's no real financial support day to day, even if you do have an accountant like myself. So you'll just kind of have to be disciplined. And that's the thing with YouTubers, and you see it a lot. YouTubers get way too comfortable. You get way too comfortable making a certain amount of money and doing like not a lot of work.
Very true. You know, people do get very complacent. And that's one thing that I always have to say. It's extremely hard to get to that point that they're talking about. But once people get to that point, yeah, a lot of times they do get like that. It's hard to make a lot of money and still put the work in to do it. That's why whenever you do this, it's best to do it because you truly want to do it. Because the minute you're doing it for, oh, I'm doing it to make the money, once you get the money, you don't care to do it anymore. You're like, man, what can I do to scrape by to just put something out? And it's going to show, it's going to look like that. And then your views are going to dwindle. And then you're going to be concerned and worried.
That you start putting out less and less, and then it kind of bites you in the ass where you could be earning less at some point, like I said, but then you still got a fat tax bill. So then you continually start losing money.
With that, plus you don't get the 401k, you don't get the benefits. Like healthcare for me, I'm paying 5 figures a month for healthcare. Or I'm sorry, 4 figures a month for healthcare. But that's a lot of money, not 5 figures, 4 figures in healthcare a month. That's a lot of money. You know, and I'm expanding my family, and it's only 3 people on there now. So that, and then you don't get as good of healthcare because you don't have those big plans. Like, say if I'm getting healthcare under a company, they're more incentivized to give me good healthcare because they get 500 people that sign up at one time. Versus when it's just you and your individual family, you pay significantly more for significantly not as good or worse healthcare.
And another uncontrollable factor of where that money goes, a whole nother place you get hit at. On them other numbers I factored, they didn't even had nothing to do with healthcare. That was just regular stuff. You need healthcare. So yeah, if you want to have a health plan and not get hit with a $200,000 bill when you go to the hospital, or you don't want to have $2,000 X-ray, you walk in there for them to look at you 8 minutes and that joint cost you $3,000. Yeah, you gonna have to pay 4 figures a month. If it's 3 people, you gonna have to pay a good $850 to $1,000 based on how much money you make a month for your health care. And then it's not even as good of a plan. Yup.
So yeah, there's a lot of things you got to think about. It ain't just about having a business. There's a lot of, you got to foot your own healthcare bill. You got to start thinking about 401ks. You got to think about how you going to do your taxes, who going to help you with all that stuff. You got to really build some level of infrastructure, and you got to have a strong mind when it comes to discipline and staying consistent with what you do. You have a duty to yourself, but also to the people who watch you, to continue to give them the content that they want and the content that they want to see, not the content that you want to make, the content that they want to see.
Exactly. Or you got to be somewhere in the middle. Have certain type of content you like to make, but they want to see. Like once you find that middle ground, that'll work. But you thinking you gonna come on here and do what you want to do? Nah, that ain't about to happen. Good luck with that. You could try it if you want. I done seen plenty of people try it. It don't work like that. If you do not give people what they want to watch, I mean, you're going to be making videos for yourself.
Because those are the people that are your audience. So, yeah.
And it's all subject as well to your mental state. YouTube is self-employment, right? And there's a unique thing to it of you can't just wake up, like myself, go on the computer like a zombie, like I used to do at my old job, and get through a day and maybe don't work as hard. Because if I don't work, I don't make any money, right? And me working means I have to perform on camera. And that is probably the hardest bit, because I say to my girlfriend, who is self-employed as well as a journalist, while I'm obviously on camera, I'm like, the hardest part of this isn't like the work. The video editing is boring. I can do that. It's literally sitting on camera and performing and getting in the right mental state every single day I record to actually film something that's entertaining or coherent in my head, because I don't script things. So it's like I have to have all these things. I have to be in the real right mental headspace. And that for me with someone with OCD means I have to have lots of things taken care of. Like I can't have something looming over my head right now thinking I have to go do like some errands after this.
Yeah, if you do think pieces, it's better to write scripts, in my opinion, especially when you first start. In order to get quality content and be a little bit more consistent, I think it's important to write scripts, because if you're just going off of when you're able to think off the top of your head and when you can perform off the top of your head, it becomes a lot harder. Anytime you have inspiration, write it down and go line for line and continue to write throughout the day and continue to think on what you want to write on. Develop scripts if you are a think piece YouTuber. I think that's the best way to go about it.
YouTube streaming in this format of making money is not easy. It's not what people think it is. It's not. You can't just come out here and just think you're going to be cashing out. That's the whole point of this. The whole point of all of this is that it's not as easy as you think it is. Now, when you get it rolling, it's a lot easier than a regular job, but it's extremely difficult because you're still working for yourself. So if you don't work, you don't need. If you're not enthusiastic, if you're not bringing the character every single day, every single time, whether you feel like it or not, it don't matter if somebody then passed away, it don't matter if you're sick, it don't matter what's going on, you got to show up and perform. You have to show up and perform, and that's a part of what goes to this. When you have a job, you know, you can show up there and not be in the mood. As long as you do your job, it don't matter. But when it comes to entertainment, you don't have that grace to not be that person at all times. You know what I'm saying? Kai can't show up to his stream like I don't feel like streaming. I show Speed can't show up on his stream being dreadful or not. What's a good word for that? Not acting out. Let's just say acting out, because I got some other words I like to use, but not acting out on his stream and being regular him. He cannot do that, and it's not easy doing that. But what I will say is it's not harder than a regular job, than like, you know, the standard jobs. It's not harder than those. It's easier than those, but it's hard to be successful at doing YouTube, being a streamer, and making, you know, making good money. It's basically a format of passion. You just gotta really like doing it. You have to like doing this. It has to be something that you would do whether you're making money or not. But it's just beneficial that you can make some money from it, but it's something that you would like to do regardless. But the minute you start chasing views and saying, oh, this is gonna get them views, and watch, it's gonna go downhill, because all you're gonna look at is that count. You're no longer gonna care about the quality. You're gonna overanalyze the analytics versus being who you are. And before you know it, you're gonna turn into Ubisoft. Like that's what's going. You're gonna turn into 2K. That's what's gonna happen, but without the billions of dollars. It's you're gonna be a 2K that don't make no money. That's what's gonna happen. But if you kicked it with your boy this long, I appreciate you hanging with me. Links in the description below, like always. And in the meanwhile, I'm out. Have a good one.